I was wrong in doing what I did.
No! Are you listening?
Sean here. I'm going to attempt to get this video uploaded. I swear to God I make so many of these and just decide I don't want to upload them. But I figured something out. You know, every once in a while I ask myself, what is it about Lorne Armstrong that got me listening to him? How do I feel about him now that I've been listening to that crap for so long? And I think at the beginning people do a 1-for-1, like a flat scale, where they talk about, oh, well, he's only acting like that because he's being catfished. It evens out. And you know, you start off with shock and awe, like, whoa, what is all of this? And then you get to, oh my God, what an idiot. And then you get to, wait a minute, this guy is that way. He's awful. And then you get to, I cannot believe he just said that. It makes me so angry. And finally you get to, this man should never be off probation and parole. He will never admit to what he's doing. He is going to be the way he is. And I think he's resigned to it by now. I think he said, you know what? This is who I am. It's just what it is. I want people to leave me alone. Well, that's great. Be who you want to be, Lorne. But you can't be left alone when what you are is not good. This is a guy, and I will get to the discussion, but this is a guy who couldn't quit smoking for a couple of days because it was too hard. He groomed a girl for 30 days. I don't know very many people who do anything for 30 days. He spent every day, probably all day when he wasn't drinking, doing, you know, what he did. I heard an interview with Bear in Wolf's Fur. It was one of those follow-ups with Chris Hansen. It was one of those. And from what I heard, I didn't get to listen to all of it. I had to turn it down occasionally. But he was a rage monster. He was only concerned with the consequences, what the consequences were like, how he had to suffer because of getting caught for what he did. Not that, hey, I turned my life around, I really tried, I wanted things to be better. No, he was so furious at Chris. He was unloading everything. And the difference between Lorne and Baron Wolfsburg is night and day. Lorne's a bitch. Maybe over the phone he might try to run his mouth until Chris went, well, let me tell you something there, Lorne. Or say something about, and your mom. Who knows how he'd react, but we know he was a bitch in person. Baron Wolfsburg is the dumbest predator that's been on there. They asked him, your intent was to go there and have sex with that girl. Well, you know, if the opportunity was there, then yeah, but my intent wasn't to go that route. So that's why I feel like I'm being tricked. I mean, he's right up there with that Victor guy. Well, what proof did she give you that she wasn't 12? Well, she didn't. So how do you know she wasn't 12? Well, I mean, a lot of people say they aren't 12. What? Smack. But anyway, Baron Wolfsburg is night and day. He's an alpha predator. He's gonna keep casting the net out until he brings something in. And the more he doesn't bring something in, the more he's gonna need his fix, the more he's gonna go after it. Lorne, on the other hand, he's an opportunistic predator. You know, we talked about that, how he'll cast his net out. If something jumps in, maybe he'll reel it. He'd rather they jump in the boat than have to do that work. Lorne's the kind of guy at work that would do absolutely nothing but still feel like he deserved to complain about everything. The kind of guy who has no responsibility, and if you try to give them responsibility, they'll flip out. They'll lose their mind. And not only that, but then they'll complain. They don't want any responsibility. Then they'll complain about everybody else. That's Lorne. That's the kind of douchebag he is. But see, Baron Wolfsburg is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's the alpha. Lorne, he is a sheep in wolf's clothing. He wants to be that alpha predator, but he doesn't know how to get there. He wants to be the I can get away with this guy, but he doesn't know how to get there. He's not willing. It wasn't real to him until he got arrested. It wasn't real. It wasn't real to him. And then when it became real, there are no do-overs. And especially when he went back to prison because he was drinking. Of course, the internet, that's the whole reason, it's the internet. But when he went back to prison, now he's like, man, if I go back again, I'm going to be in there forever. And my life sucks, but at least I'm not in prison. I mean, that's what I'm thinking he's saying. I don't know for certain what it would take to get him to fix himself, but I do know that he'll never be that guy. He is the guy, if you wandered up to his house, he would take you out. If he was a serial killer, you would have to come up to him, because he's not going to go out trolling and do all the work of getting somebody in the car and all that. No, he's not. He's not Ted Bundy, the wolf in sheep's clothing. And you know, when Ted Bundy didn't get Carol DeRange, he went out later that night, picked somebody else, and brutalized them horrifically, even worse than usual, because he needed that fix. And first of all, Lorne's a virgin. I mean, who tells a woman, I want to put it in without a condom to feel skin on skin, and then I will put the condom back on? Who does that? Virgins do that. Lorne is a virgin. Unless, and I still don't know if this happened or not, some sicko in the Lorneography community decided they wanted to go up there and help. If I just have sex with him, maybe he'll calm down. I don't know. But I mean, there are people who went and visited with him. I mean, I had sex with Lorne could be a $100,000 a year job if you put out a video about all your time you spent with Lorne Armstrong. I mean, it's gross. It would be a laughingstock, but you'd have a lot of views. And as we know, Lorne thought he got like $1 a click or $1 a view or something like that. Put it this way, I got 250,000 views. When he went with that beat to shit to the fair to stare lovingly across at his 14-year-old girlfriend, or however old she was. He says 14, I'm assuming 12. But to stare lovingly across, probably on the way down there, somebody said, hey, dude, she can't even drive yet. She's probably here with her parents, and if she's here with her friends, Lorne, well, she's with her friends. Her friends are the same age. Their parents are probably here. There are going to be parents here, Lorne. What the fuck do they know about true love? Kids can love too. So maybe somebody like gave him a hint. You see the hint? Maybe somebody gave him a hint, and he realized, oh man, this is not good. I'm walking into the wolves den here. They're going to be parents everywhere, and they're going to have to check in with their parents, and they're going to have to explain why they're running around with a bald, Shrek-looking, melted ice cream, pedophile douchebag. The fact that he has real victims makes it worse. But he would never do it online, number one, because he failed once. And of course, we know Lorne, you know, in the Bible, 10 Commandments, he finds some line somewhere, some paragraph that has nothing to do with them, that he would say negated the whole thing. See, I don't have to follow those. I'm the best Christian ever. He would find that one thing because he's so simple-minded. I got busted once online, so if I talk to anybody online, I'll have to get them on the phone quickly. And this time on the phone, yeah, if her name's Betty Cooper, I'm going to put her in there as Bradley Cronkite. Yeah, I'm going to give it a male name. So when they check my phone, there won't be a girl's name. Oh, really, Lorne? Because your text, and I can see him doing this, your text messages are going to be the same thing as they always are. How was your day? I had a long day at work. I'd like to give you a long day. LOL, winky face, rose. Very, very special. And then you'd have to explain, Lorne, who is this Bradley Cronkite, man? Oh, it's a friend of mine. Is that why you're telling him you want to lick his vagina, dude? I mean, does he have a vagina? I mean, is this some kind of weird trans thing? I mean, what's going on here? It's a fucking woman. It's not a man. Oh, so you're sexting women on your phone. Thanks, Lorne. That's all we needed. Enjoy the prison time. Son of a bitch, and I didn't even see it coming, Uncle Clayton. But I want to say something that's sobering. Alpha predators, they want trophies. They want the rich girls, well-groomed, jewelry, nice clothes. That's a trophy for them, right? They want those. They want the ones that they can brag about, or look at those pictures and say, yeah, I conquered that. Now, the guys on TCAP, they weren't exactly the alpha predators, right? We're not talking Epstein list here. But I want you to think about the kind of victims Lorne would have. He was so stupid. He picked a doctor, probably prominent doctor, and his wife who connected and rich, made for the media. Prominent doctor's daughter disappeared. And of course, Lorne would probably want to show up. I just want to say I rescued your daughter. And I promise you I'm going to get to the sobering part. But I rescued your daughter. She really loves me for doing that. Do you think we can see more of each other? And we'll tell your parents. We'll tell your parents that we're just spending quality time together. What a douchebag. But anyway, moving on from that, because it makes me want to punch myself in the throat. I want to, getting past what he would likely have to do to get out of that situation, I don't want to go down that road. Think of how damaged, think of what a piece of garbage, think of how mentally challenged Lorne Armstrong is. I mean, if you really do think about it, and you think about the fact that he's not an alpha, you think about everything else, and you start to think about what kind of victims would this guy have? Could this guy have? They aren't going to be the rich, well-schooled young girls. No. These are going to be the most at risk, the most vulnerable, damaged, probably mentally challenged like Lorne. Those are the type of girls that Lorne would have a chance to lure into his trailer. Some of those kids may not even be missed for a few days. Because if Lorne found out that, they had these girls who were 14, looked maybe like she was 16 or 17, their parents were crackheads, and they didn't really pay attention to what their child was doing. They didn't pay attention to any of that. That would be his dream. He's not going to land some, popular girl. I don't think Lorne could do that. Honestly, I can't even see a scenario. I know some people would say, well, maybe no, it's Lorne Armstrong we're talking about here. I don't think you do it. He would be victimizing the most at risk. He probably doesn't even recognize it, but Kayla met one of his biggest criteria, which was neglect. Being neglected. That was a big plus for him. I mean, during the insane, practically criminal COVID lockdowns where they forced everyone to be in their house and you could be arrested if you came out. I mean, it's crazy the lockdown, Anyway, during that time, Lorne would have found a girl whose parents worked 2 jobs. They were deemed essential personnel. Somehow he would have found them. They were doing all of their schoolwork online, right? Doing all of it online, and convince them that they can do their schoolwork later. They don't need to be doing their schoolwork right now. Concentrate on him, please. That kind of stuff. And Lynn Armstrong, because he has no soul, no moral compass, he probably wouldn't even see anything wrong with that. But he would manage to find the most at-risk children, because that's who he is. And that bullshit is disgusting to me. And it is disgusting. Because you've got a guy who's dangerous in many ways. If he was to get a victim, he would not know how to treat that victim. He would not do a Jeff Sokol and probably take her out, buy her something nice, take her to dinner, take her to a movie, treat her, equate her with whatever vagina he's had in his life, 40-year-old, 20-year-old, 12-year-old, they're all the same to him. They probably get treated all the same, like it's a date. To Jeff, it's probably no big deal. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but they might have been showed some respect before he did what he was going to do. Lorne would, I'm going to cook for you. You know, it's more special than going out and eating a real meal that doesn't have flies inside of it. I mean, we're talking about Lorne here. What do you want to do for a date, Kayla? Well, I thought I thought we could, I'll cook here, we could sit and watch a movie, on my filthy, disgusting, bedbug-infested couch. Lorne wouldn't treat these at-risk children well at all. Even if he was their caregiver. Well, go in there and do whatever. But this is, the diddler. The diddler on the roof, man. Lorne Armstrong. He's not going to treat them like human beings. We know that for a fact. He can't even treat his family like human beings. His fake friends online as human beings. His fake friends on the phone as human beings. Nobody is a human being to him. They are objects to be used. And thank God, none of them have been stupid enough so far to get involved with this piece of shit. He wants to be the alpha so bad. And I know some of what I talked about was probably hard, and I didn't really want to get into it, but in order to highlight what a piece of shit Lorne is, and why he is a sheep in wolf's clothing, why he is that, and his opportunistic and what he has to prey upon. He's going to prey upon the injured animal. He's not going to go after the meatiest one, the one that with the prize. He's not going to go after that. He's going to go after the one with the wounded leg. Now, what's sad is, not sad, but Lorne is probably the kind of guy who, given the opportunity, this isn't sad, this is actually good, but if a girl had some kind of special need or deformity that, we know Lorne, he's superficial, and he believes all women should be perfect for him. You don't have to be perfect, just perfect. I believe you, but I want you to tell me the truth. Fucking up the plate. But I think those girls would be safe from him unless he became ridiculously desperate. Unless he's finally at the stage where I'll take anything that comes along. I do not want to die a virgin. Would somebody please help me? I mean, who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? He probably would. He wants the wounded animal, the one that presents no challenge whatsoever. He doesn't want to work for anything. Thank God he doesn't want to work for anything. And I don't mean any disrespect. I know it may sound like when I talk about the wounded animal, but we're talking about like the most at-risk children, the ones who have been gimped by their social surroundings and life in general, the ones who have been neglected, that might feel that his attention, oh, he's showering me with praise. What we did was disgusting, but he told me I was the best at the disgusting thing. He's just a terrible human being. And I know he probably listens to this crap, and he's probably like, I'm not a piece of shit, I'd never do that. Oh, really, Lorne? If it was possible to have a lifelike human android of a 13-year-old girl, I would send her down your street, have her come up to your door, ask for help, and let's see how quickly you get her inside somehow. How about we do that, Lorne? We never use a real child, but how about we do that? How about we have that android walk up and let's time how long it is before you find an excuse for that android that you wouldn't know was an android to be inside your house for safety, to wait for the right people. I'm guessing it would be, all right, hit your stop. Oh wait, never mind, she's already in. Because that's who he is, man. Alone, lonely, wounded, injured. Emotionally is what I'm talking about. Wounded, physically injured, unable to escape, needing some kind of assistance, that would be Lorne. He wants that situation. He doesn't want to work for it. Now, he'll work a little bit once he lures them in, if he can. He'll work really hard to get what he wants. Can you imagine this stupid piece of shit that's in the photo right there? Can you imagine him sitting next to a 12 or 13-year-old making the jokes that he tried to make with Winnie and with Jamie Amy and Casey and, oh, you want my penis in your butt, huh? Ha ha ha. I can see that he is 100% that guy who, again, a little like Jeff Sokol, wouldn't really understand that 12-year-old physiology anatomy is going to be much different than a grown woman. It works the same. I mean, kids can love too. Their bodies work the same, It's not like they can't have sex. Fuck you, Lorne. I mean, fuck you. With handcuffs on. Jesus. Okay. But back to what I was saying. There in Wolfsburg, the guy who wants it, who's going to go after it immediately, with competence, has no problem. I'm sure he's probably tried to reoffend in real life and run away as far as he can. I mean, here's what's so dangerous about the world we live in today. In Britain, and you can look this up, and people can turn their head all they want, but 2 Islamic immigrants came into London, I believe it was, or one of this, Nottingham, I don't remember, Leeds, one of those cities. And the judge allowed the 2 boys to walk free after raping an underage girl, a native of that country. 2 immigrants came in, raped her, and they were allowed to walk away free because the judge said, well, they didn't know the laws of the land and where they're from. This is where wokeness is a virus, man. Imagine somebody like Lorne, who had a little bit of go-get, see something like that. I mean, he's dumb. Well, they got to, I can just use this, they didn't know. I didn't know it was wrong, I thought it was 16. He said 18, dude. But that type of shit is happening right now. I mean, it's scary. It is really, really scary. There are enough predators out there where we shouldn't have to worry about Bear and Wolfsburg. We shouldn't have to worry about Lee Greer or any of these guys. I don't know who's alive and who's not, but we shouldn't have to worry about Chuck Hardings out there. Yeah, I know Chuck's dead, but the people like him or John Pedersen, Scott Pedersen, John Pedersen, somebody, anybody, is there a Pedersen in here? I mean, hello? Okay, moving on. We should at least have them reformed or locked up. I'm all for Florida, like the death penalty for these pieces of shit. Or in Kenya, I think they're castrating these people. Man, I'm really dark today. I know that. I kind of went off the rails. But we shouldn't have to worry about a Lorne Armstrong or any of these people at all. We have enough problems to worry about. And because Lorne's an opportunistic predator, their number one goal should be to make sure that he never has that opportunity. And I think that's what the state is trying to do. But after a while, I mean, there are so many of these pieces of garbage out there, and none of them are being reformed. They're reoffending all of this. They're not making any progress. The system does not work most of the time. So, I mean, what's the solution? You have to hope that they're like Lorne, lazy, weak, unemployed, with nothing to offer anyone of his age, older or less. You just kind of have to hope that he never gets that opportunity. Because if he does, we know what's going to happen. Anyways, that's my dark video today. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.